and do it again on some different windows that I hadn't cleaned yet, and found out that the audio wasn't working then either, and now all the windows on the truck are clean. So whoever asked for that video, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to give me a little bit more time to find another vehicle with some dirty windows on it, because I just... Hey guys, it's Nick with the RVing Tradesman. We've been on a little unscheduled hiatus here for the last few weeks. We've had everything from weather not cooperating to equipment not cooperating to other personal things that we're just not going to get into right now. This week's video was supposed to be the one on cleaning the windshield that somebody had asked about like forever ago. But going back to those equipment issues, we got out here, recorded it once, and it lost the audio halfway through, and it was actually raining that day, so we had no way to reshoot it or anything. And then came out here just a little while ago to try and do it again on some different windows that I hadn't cleaned yet, and found out that the audio wasn't working then either, and now all the windows on the truck are clean. So whoever asked for that video, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to give me a little bit more time to find another vehicle with some dirty windows on it, because that video is just not wanting to cooperate. So I kind of decided that I had had enough is enough, and there's going to be a video that comes out no matter what today. But today what I'm going to do, since all else has failed, I think we're going to do a little tech tip or a little tool tip today. And this is something on your circular saw is what we're going to be working on. And this applies to table saws, miter saws, all kinds of different saws. A little maintenance thing that you can do. And what we're going to do is we're going to square the blade to the shoe of the saw. And depending on what you use your saw for and how often that you use it, you may need to do this more often other than, or not quite as often. Mine rides around in the back of my work truck a lot. So going up and down the road and bouncing up and down and things like that, it needs to be done a little bit more often. I usually have to do it once or twice a year. And usually the reason that I know is I'll cut, like, say, a 4x4, because this blade isn't deep enough to cut a 4x4 in one pass. So you have to cut it and then flip it over and cut it again, and I'll notice that my marks don't line up the way that they should, or I get like a weird cut out of it or something like that. And it's not hard to do. First thing you're going to do, if you notice I've got the battery out of it, if it's a corded model, obviously unplug it. You don't want to end up with 9 fingers. And the way that you check it is you move the guard back and hold that out of the way, and then take a speed square. And this is also another good thing. I've given out a couple of these, not this particular one, but the Milwaukee trim square, and you can use one of those too, just the same. I've given out a few of these now, and it's a neat little thing that you can do it for, and it's super handy. All you're going to do is take it and place it flat on the foot of the, on the shoe of the saw, and you're going to hold it up, and you place it against the blade, not against the tooth, but up against the blade. And if they touch all the way up and down, let me show you on this side, all the way up and down right here, and all the way across right there, that means the blade is square to the shoe of the blade. Now if it doesn't, what you do is there is an adjustment screw right here. It's a little Allen set screw that goes down in there. So what you're going to do is, before you check, you want to make sure that you're on 0 on your miter gauge over here, which this one is. Again, roll the guard out of the way, take your speed square, put it on there, make your check, and I can see here on mine that mine is just off just a little bit. Now you want to make sure that you're not on one of the teeth, because the teeth actually stick out a little bit wider than everything else. So now that we know it's loose, what we're going to do is we're going to loosen the screw for the miter gauge, the thumb screw for that, and take that Allen screw, and we're just going to turn it just a little bit. This one's a little tight. They get sawdust and whatnot stuck in there. There we go. Break it loose. And we're going to do about one, let's see, that was a half. We'll do about one turn. And you don't need to do a whole lot of turning to make a lot of adjustment. So it's kind of a guess and test kind of thing. Put it back up there, see how it looks. We're flat across the bottom and we're flat across the side of the blade now. So now we know that everything is squared up. We tighten this back down, do a quick double check, make sure that our gauge is still on 0 here, and if nothing is moved, then that means this is square now, and you'll make nice square cuts. Now that's important because a cut being slightly off will chase you around a job. You know, a cut being just a degree or two off, you know, by the end of a project, especially naturally, the bigger the thing that you're working on, the longer it is, the more things start to get off and start to get out of whack as you go down that line, because a degree here and a degree here and a degree here over 10 cuts is now 10 degrees off. So that's why that is important. It's a quick little thing that you can do. It takes about less than 5 minutes. It probably took me longer to find the speed square and dig it out of wherever it was. Actually, the Allen key was the hardest thing to find because it's a tiny Allen key. But every saw should have that adjustment screw on there. If it doesn't, what you can do is you can just kind of align your miter gauge on the side of your saw to make it to 0. That's not really the proper way to do it. It's not really the right way to do it. But I haven't seen every circular saw out there, so I can't speak that every circular saw has an adjustment. But mine does. Most of them do. And really, that's all I have. I don't know how much I can beat this one up any more than I already have. So before we leave off, though, I do want to let everybody know that we do have some videos in the works. We've got a couple on getting some scratches out of paint on the vehicle, fixing some chips on the paint in the vehicle. We are planning on doing some things now that it's warming up, now that we're getting more light outside on the trailer. Probably some detailing videos on how to throw a coat of wax on that or get some oxidation off of the fiberglass if you've got any of that going on. So stay subscribed, stay tuned, keep coming back to the channel looking for those new things. If you guys don't know, we've got the Facebook group, we've got the Instagram page, we've got all kinds, there's a Twitter page too. There's all kinds of things going on in there. We've got top contributor prizes for the Facebook page. We don't really have any prizes worked out for anything on the Instagram or the Twitter page. To be honest with you guys, I don't do Twitter and I don't really understand how Instagram works. I can barely work Facebook, so don't beat me up too hard. It's not my area. It's not my thing. But we, like I said, we do have some contests going on in the Facebook group. So if you are on Facebook, I recommend getting in there and getting in on those. Like I said, I've given out a couple of speed squares on there. So if you're needing a speed square, get on there and post and comment and like to your heart's content until at the end of the month I have no choice but to say, okay, I got to give it to that guy. But other than that, guys, stay safe out there and we'll see you on the next video.